Yes, here we are once again. The High Noon Hemp Show. I can hear the sirens going off, heralding our arrival, which of course means it's not only Wednesday at noon Eastern Time, it's the first Wednesday of the month, noon Eastern Time, which of course means it's time for the High Noon Hemp Show. You can find us in many, many places if you want the video, on demand, or live. Temptations Beach Facebook page, of course, also the Jedi Hemp YouTube channel, and at Temptations on Twitter. If you just want the audio, want the podcast, maybe you're going on a drive or something, you want to listen to all the hemp infotainment, if you will, you can do that. Podbean, iHeartRadio, and Google Play. Just search the High Noon Hemp Show on any of those platforms. I am Sarah Jesus. You can search me if you feel like it on the interwebs. He is Beach, high above the Temptations in Sharonville, Ohio, the hemp quarters. Beach, how are things on this first day of December in the world of Temptations?
They're good, decently okay.
There you go.
I suppose. But yeah, it is true. I am high above the Sharonville location at the hemp quarters for almost every episode of the High Noon Hemp Show so far. It's true. Someday we're going to go on the road. Get out at Johnny Beachy on the street. I did that once in Chicago, and I need to go back and find that footage. But I ran around Chicago when the High Noon Hemp Show, when I was with the High Noon Hemp Show, and I would walk up to people and I would be like, and I had a mic and everything, put the mic on it. Hey, do you guys know where I could find any hemp? Like all suspicious, like, you know. Most people, they didn't, they'd be like, they get a confused look on their face, and then I'd be like, like my clothes, just to make sure that they weren't thinking about something illicit. That was kind of fun. It was kind of fun. So I've got some footage somewhere of me approaching a bunch of people on the streets of Chicago. We got kicked out of the park because
Wow.
you couldn't do that at the park without actually getting a license from the city
Wow.
to interview people. So I got kicked out of the park for asking people where I could find some hemp. Hey, do you know where I could find some hemp? Yeah. So anyway, yes, we'll have to find that footage. That was fun. Anyway, hope everybody had a good Hempsgiving. Filled up their bellies, which is really, as we talked about, the most appropriate part, and actually thought about the Native Americans that gave up their land so us Europeans could be here to celebrate Thanksgiving. Anyway. I talked about that enough last week. This week, I am actually should be fun for me. I'm doing another Mensa meeting on Friday night. For those of you that don't know, Mensa is the organization for the smart people, as Mary likes to describe it, on paper. That's how she describes my genius, on paper. But last time I spoke, it was a fun little crowd, and they were very, very interested in all things hemp. And so, howdy, Philip Parks. Welcome to the High Noon Hemp Show. And then next Tuesday, I am going to do my best. I've been it's weird. I've been kind of sick the last couple meetups. The second to last medical marijuana meetup here in Cincinnati, I was COVID positive. Most of you don't know that, maybe, but anyway, I've been vaccinated. I've had it. I feel like I must be the safest human on the planet right now when it comes to that. But then here comes Omicron, which just reminds me of Futurama's Omicron Persei 8, which was a planet that was ruled by Jar. I think that was his name. Anyway, next Tuesday is the Cincinnati medical marijuana meetup. The best thing for that, and again, I was asked from just about the original, from the host, to come to the meetings to talk about CBD, to talk about hemp, to be that part, and so that's why I go, and they're great. I mean, it's not just why I go, I suppose. So far, it hasn't been a lack of great conversation. There's a full circle of people that show up, because there are some people that are really actually showing up just to look more about CBD or whatnot. There's a little bit of, there's always seems to be doctors and patients and um, people doing this and people doing that, and so it's a fun group, all based on Ohio medical marijuana, being an Ohio medical marijuana patient, for the most part, and whatnot. And so, and the best thing to do there, if you want to be involved in that group, is go to meetup.com, and you join the Cincinnati medical marijuana meetup group. And then you'll get updates and invitations, and you can RSVP and all of those good things. And that's here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And they've started. It was such a hit here in Cincinnati, honestly, that they actually started a branch in Columbus, I believe, or Cleveland. I think it was Cleveland, maybe Columbus, probably one if not both. And so maybe I'll make it up to one of those meetings if I ever decide to venture out. So anyway, that is me personally, just this week, getting out there. Not much else going on in the stores, really. This is the start of what I like to call Hemptations, the procrastination destination for your holidays. Of course, Hanukkah has already started.
Mm-hmm.
So if you celebrate Hanukkah and you want to get hemp gifts for Hanukkah, then we're here for you now. We're here for you now. And in fact, you have still procrastinated to shop for Hanukkah, if that is the case. So either way. That being said, let's get right on to the product spotlight for this week. 4 from the store, 1 from my door, on the High Noon Hemp Show, here every Wednesday at high noon. Hemptations Beach, Facebook, YouTube, Jedi Hemp channel, blah, blah, blah. The first product here is actually our Delta 8 line. And so we now have tincture and gummies in the Delta 8, which is really taken off in popularity, so to speak. And so made semi-locally. Also using Kentucky-grown Delta 8.
Awesome. Oh, we have a bit of a frozen beach. First time that's happened in a while. A long while. Knock on wood. As people are prone to do. So wait for beach to return. You can see right there. The Delta 8. Hemptations.com if you want to find locations, obviously. You see little crawls along the bottom. There's various crawls along the bottom during the show. Where you can find the show, you can find online products, where you find Hemptations locations, all that stuff, the podcast, anything you need to know. Hemptations.com if you need to know something as far as what events are going on, where there's locations, if you want to shop online, the links to the High Noon Hemp Show and the various places that we do it, all of that can be found at Hemptations.com as we wait for Beach to return to us on the High Noon Hemp Show for the product spotlight, because he knows the products much better than anyone, and he knows more about hemp than anyone. And of course, the other segments, what are you wearing, Beach, the news, all that stuff. All the stuff you come here for each week. There is Beach again. Bam.
It hasn't happened. That hasn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
I was actually listening to you on the YouTube that I have channel to make sure that I wasn't around. And so, yes, it's true. And, I'm about to renegotiate my internet cost here, because I spend twice as much as any location to have internet here.
Oh, wow.
And although we haven't been interrupted in a while, that was the internet going down. So anyway, I am back. Here we go. Delta 8. Get your Hemptations Delta 8 products. Now the Merry Hempsters. I've been talking about the Merry Hempsters a lot, seems like, in the last month or so. I guess it's because we did just recently get in a fresh batch of the Merry Hempsters. But this is their CBD lotion. And so, one is just like a hand and body lotion, and then the other one's a warming lotion, which again, I think you'd want to use on sore spots and things like that as much as anything. But it's that's a really good amount of CBD in that bottle, whether it's the small bottle or the big bottle for the price point for sure. And so, I think that definitely with those lotions, I think that higher amount of CBD definitely helps a little bit with that. So the next one is the Twine. Maybe you're going to make some gifts for the holidays. And so, this is the Twine selection, and in Sharonville, of course. So we should have these colors out in all the other stores too, because we have plenty of them. So maybe you're going to make some homemade gifts for the holidays, which are they're from the heart when you make them by hand. There's no doubt about that. As corny as that sounds, it is true. No matter how they turn out, if you take the time to make somebody something, that really means something. And the last one is maybe you've got a dog that you want to get a new collar for, or something, new leash, harness, something. This is once again the selection in the Sharonville store. Most stores should have a decent selection of leashes and collars and small jackets. We have small jackets. We never made the big ones. Josie has a big jacket, but that was about the only one that was ever made. But we do have the smaller jackets for the smaller dogs to keep them warm through the winter, because we're winterized. We are wintered. Well, the next couple of days are supposed to be medium, but again, it's cold. It's going to stay cold, and it's cold. And now that's 4 from the store. Now the one from my door is something that I carry on me just about everywhere. But this is my particular pipe / lighter case. And so when I go out with my CBD flower or my Delta 8 flower, I've got my Cigar Pipe, which is, again, my all-time favorite pipe, and I can't even sell them in the stores, which breaks my heart because I can't find them in the United States to sell wholesale or to buy wholesale. But anyway, it's the particular one I'm carrying right now is black and orange, as you can see, because of the bangles. And of course, my Heidelberg University is also black and orange. So I don't want to leave them out of my love for black and orange. Go student princes. And so there you have it. On the product spotlight, High Noon Hemp Show, 4 from the store, 1 from my door. As we do every week, as we do now with the next segment, soon to be recognized. I feel it.
Yeah, by someone, somewhere, will recognize it as what I've been calling it for now 151 episodes, the greatest single segment in internet history. I've yet to be proven wrong, but apparently that doesn't lead to tons of awards or even nominations. That's fine. I'm not bitter or anything. I don't bring it up every week for just I'm bitter. But if there's anybody out there, if you know of an award we could win, please tell me, because we'll go after it. I don't care. I'm not beneath that. I'll do what it takes. Of course, that's my long-winded way of saying it's time for me to ask Beach the most important question that I ask him the entire show. Sometimes I ask him many questions. Sometimes I only ask a few. But this one is the big one. This is the Beachwear segment. What are you wearing, Beach?
That's right. If you are curious, and it is Wednesday, and it's high noon, this is the place to be to find out what I'm wearing. It's true. So from head to toe, we've got my Make America Make America Hemp again. God, I can't even believe I even spoke those words. Oh, my Lord. Ay.
Run off Facebook.
That's kind of like how long it's been since it's really been an issue, I suppose. I've luckily forgotten the whole that movement. But this is a grassroots Make America Hemp again, kind of camouflage hat. Got my hemp hoodlam, thick padded coat on again, because today was like rainy cold, and those are the just most miserable days. And originally, ironically, the hoodlams, these coats were actually made for those rainy, cold days in Amsterdam. And so they definitely come in handy when that happens. I got my Young Maven long sleeve on underneath my NoCo Ono NoCo t-shirt. I think that was printed by Vital Hemp. You can check them out online for clothing and whatnot. Vital Hemp, been around for a while. Long story there. I'm not going to tell it today. On the bottom half, we have my Orvis jeans, and I think they're still jeans because I think they're a jean weave, even though they're not a jean color. I have to find out for sure by definition how all that works out. And you can see my Green Springs technology pen there, as always, tucked into my pocket. Brought out for you, the viewers of the High Noon Hemp Show, for the What Are You Wearing Beach segment every week now. It took me 140 something episodes to figure out that I should pull it out of my pocket so you can see it too. Just so you know, ever evolving is the High Noon Hemp Show. Classic pair of head case boxers, and then bringing it all together down there. My knee high Canna-Leaf Satori socks, and a pair of Wicked Hemp boots that I've probably had for almost 10 years. Just now breaking them out. For you, the viewers of the High Noon Hemp Show, never seen before on my feet.
Wow.
Those Wicked Hemp boots.
Until
now. So
that's why you tune in.
Now that they've been released to my feet, I can wear them all the time. And there you have it, folks. If you are curious on what old Beach is wearing today, now you know. The What Are You Wearing Beach segment of the High Noon Hemp Show. All right. I mean, I was thinking we were going to have a little bit of news, but I went a different route with some of the stuff I was doing and found some good stuff out there. So first and foremost, now this was actually, I saw this on Facebook, but these plans, this is kind of neat. You can buy these plans for what they're calling the Hex Hempel house, the Hex Hempel house. Definitely a small house, a small dwelling. I guess it's a house or it's a dwelling, one way or another, if you would want to do that, depending on how far you want to go with plumbing and other things. It's very tiny house, if nothing else. But you can do the blueprints. And again, we're just seeing so much more construction stuff going on. Now, I think the one thing that you probably have to find yourself, though, is the materials. Now, I think they do give you some advice on that. When you buy the plans, I think you get all the stuff listed there as well. And so there you have it. If you want to build yourself a little Hex Hempel hut, we'll call it the Hex Hempel hut. I think that's appropriate. It looks like a hut. It should be called the Hex Hempel hut. Triple H. I think Triple H is taken though.
It's trademarked probably.
Another environmental group getting sued by wrestlers. You try to use Triple H in your hemp house name, you're gonna get sued by a wrestler. But again, fun stuff. I wouldn't mind building a little Hex Hempel hut somewhere.
Be a good place to do this show from.
Yeah, right.
From the Triple H, live from the Triple H.
Yeah, live from the Triple H. How cool would that be to do a live show from a hemp house or something? Man, now we're really going to have to look into something. That would definitely be fun, or even like a hemp house. Go live. You get one built and do it on the film, and then I'll show it maybe. But that's one thing I actually haven't really even participated in and I've been to places where they were doing hempcrete workshops and teaching people, but I have not actually gotten my hands dirty, so to speak, with hempcrete, which, all in all, it just seems utterly ridiculous. I have some really cool ideas of making stuff out of hempcrete. but I just haven't done it yet. So maybe next summer. I feel like the materials are, again, as we just really start getting into materials that are easier to find, especially to get to and find in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. I've talked about it before when it comes to hempcrete. Cincinnati was not kind. They turned down a permit to build with it. And so, we'll see. All right, let's get moving on. Company called Enact. Their towels are on sale. They have 20% off their website right now. And it's ANACT, as you can see, and it's ANACT.com. And they've got their coupon code there. Yeah, get 20% off. And this is the towel set that I found on their website. I think you can buy each one individually, possibly as well. And I think the sale is store wide, so to speak, website wide, I guess we have to say when it's online. Internet wide. I don't know if that makes any sense. No, website wide. And I've been seeing the Enact towels popping up recently. And again, it's a 55-45, which is better than nothing. And 100% hemp towels. I'm telling you, I have some 100% hemp towels, and it takes forever for them to start absorbing, in all honesty, which is, the thing that's great about it too. But you wash them a couple times, get to it, and they finally kind of break in. You definitely have to break in a 100% hemp towel, so to speak. So good stuff there. All towels, man. Can you imagine? God, if we could replace all the cheap cotton towels, how the planet, oh my God, another sigh of relief from the planet. Just towels alone. Because the industry's got it in us believe, we got to wash them every certain, and then we got to replace them. Like, I mean, I have never replaced a towel.
Wow.
I may have gotten new towels. I'm not saying I haven't gotten new towels, but I've never replaced towels. Towels, unless a towel like disintegrated in my hands, I would find a purpose to use that towel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so again, the hemp towels that I've been using, I've had for 10, 15, 20 years, possibly. My oldest set of hemp towels that I still use on a semi-regular basis, I know for at least 15. If not 20 years. One towel. Anyway, so Patagonia also has stuff on their website right now, some hemp stuff on sale. I don't know that they're doing a website store wide, but I did see some of their women's jackets, hemp women's jackets on sale. And so, I may go check out myself how much of their hemp is on sale at Patagonia. But they are forever increasing and making hemp stuff. And so good for them for sure. So Etsy is obviously just like kind of eBay is. It's the new home for finding pretty cool hemp products. This unique floor cushion set I found. It's unique in a couple ways. It's uniquely expensive. But I love it. I suppose if you are one to be okay with sitting on the floor at 6'5", it's like, it's okay. It's not sitting on the floor. It's getting on the floor and planning on being there for a while. Because it's just, especially the older I get now, I am still, my body is still in decent shape. But again, getting up off of the floor is the whole process. But I would love, I would love to even have these cushions, find something relatively close to this and use it on, my futon frame or something, which would be super cool. But, I think and I'm going to talk about it. I have two thoughts at the end of the show. And one is shopping for hemp for the holiday season. And that will be at the end of the show after the news, after the events, which we don't have a whole lot of. And so I'm going to kind of dig into how to shop for hemp for the holidays as well. In an article titled 4 Foods Doctors Say You Should Be Eating Over 40 to Slow Your Body's Aging. And basically what part of it was foods high in omega-3. They didn't really actually have 4 foods. They had like 4 groups of foods. And there was one group of foods that they say you should eat, which is foods high in omega-3 fatty acids, which, of course, on that list included hemp. And I quote from the article, which says, hemp seeds are also rich in chlorophyll, nature's best cleanser. So be sure to include a bit in your daily diet. And so they had a list of 5 or 6 different foods that were really high. And then it's, hemp was actually last in hemp. And then, of course, they go to this quote that tells you why hemp should have been the first thing they talked about, but was the last. Again, I can't talk enough about how great of an idea it is to add hemp seed or hemp seed oil to your diet. More proof of that. And this was a doctor that gave that quote. I don't know what they were a doctor of. Hopefully nutrition or something. I didn't go that far into looking. Could have just been a professor at the university where the kid wrote the article. I don't know. Anyway, no. So yeah, but again, there's more proof. Every week I bring you more proof of why we should eat hemp food. This is really kind of fun. Inca Renewable Technologies. Inca Renewable Technologies Incorporated is developing a hemp-based paneling aimed at the RV industry. Okay. Now they have secured a contract with Genesis Products, which is right across the border somewhere in Elkhart, Indiana, where these RVs are actually getting built. They've secured this contract. Now, the most interesting part, and I'm glad someone is listening, even though this is taking business to Canada, they're gonna build. If I saw correctly, they're looking to build a 200,000 square foot processing facility. And they're more than likely going to do it in Western Canada. Why Western Canada, do you say? Well, probably because Western Canada is where all the hemp gets thrown away as far as the stalks at the end of the grain season. Manitoba is one of the bigger regions right now in Canada for growing industrial hemp for grain. And their process, for the most part, no matter who is growing for grain in Canada, and they are probably the largest grower of hemp grain in the whole world at this point, because they're supplying the whole world with hemp grain. At the end of the year, they just took all those stalks, no matter how many acres or hectares of hemp they grew, and they piled it all up, and I believe they lit it on fire. I would guess that hopefully they would use that ash as some type of fertilizer at the very least. But my understanding is, up until now, for the most part, that's all waste. And we're talking about hundreds and thousands of acres of grain being grown in Canada. And again, all of those stalks, every single one of them, for the most part, was just disposed of. And so now they can take that waste, and man, they can make all the RV panels they need to. They can, this is a move for them, in my opinion, which is a great move to get into every automobile in the United States, to get into any type of hemp fiber composite that can be used for anything. And again, for the Ohio Department of Agriculture spokesman who said that people aren't growing for fiber because there's no market, once again getting proved wrong, that these people are going to Canada because of this waste market, which is again smart. And that I'm sure that they work out a deal with these grain people that, hey, how about we just come and take this off your hands, maybe give you a little bit of a whatever, and clean up for you more or less. And so who knows, where that goes. But I have some of that for reference. I have some of that Canadian grown hemp grain stalks. I met up with a gentleman years ago. We spoke on the same stage about what he spoke on what he did. But what he did was he actually went to Canada and filled an entire U-Haul truck full of industrial hemp stalks all over a beer bet to bring them back to the United States to prove that those stalks were in fact legal in the United States. And all I had to do was take them across the bridge. And he did. He said they had to clean them up a lot because there was a lot of seed left. And customs would not put up with that. But he brought them all, won the bet, and then threw them up into the top of his garage and didn't know what to do with them. So years ago, I took some of them off his hands. Our displays, when we go out and we set up our hemp educational table and whatnot, they're always surrounded by these hemp stalks that legally came from Canada, again, as waste. He just went to one of the grain growers and said, this is what I'm doing. And they were like, go ahead. And then he had to find some people to actually help him strip them down to get them clean enough, so to speak, without leaves. Because you can't bring, at the time, you couldn't have leaves or seeds. And in fact, if you, as far as definition goes, those are actually the only parts of the cannabis plant that are on the controlled substance list, are the leaves and the flowers. So you can grow cannabis in the United States without leaves and flowers. As far as that goes. But anyway, and so, yeah, good. This is Inca Renewable Technologies. Great idea. We're definitely, hopefully, going to be seeing more of their products in the world, and getting rid of more plastic to make room for hemp fiber composites. So there you have it. Here's a big thing, and of course, I had no idea, even though I've seen recipes of foods in India with hemp seed. The Food Safety and Security Authority of India has just approved hemp seeds, hemp seed oil, and seed-based flour as food and food ingredients, which is crazy. Of course, over there, they call it bong. Even if it's industrial hemp, I think they call it bong. What was interesting with my experience in India and cannabis was when I went out to the small village in the true middle of nowhere, India. We donated saris and grain to the village. Outside of the chief's house, and he was one of the only ones that probably actually had a house structure. There was one cannabis plant. Like it was like a bush, like an ornamental bush. And there was, there was some little bit of trees out here, but this one ornamental bush, somewhere I'm going to have to find my picture of that one singular cannabis plant that I came across in India that was growing right outside the chief's house. And it was one of the only ones I saw when I went there. And I asked him about it, and I never really got a definition, because they didn't look like they were growing for the flower part. It really honestly looked like a hemp plant bush, kind of round, hadn't started to flower yet. And so, but it was kind of interesting. And again, I never got a real definitive explanation. So maybe it was actually a female and were growing for flower, and the chief didn't really want to talk about it because that would be technically illegal. And they don't really grow or have the flower readily available in India as well. It was almost all hash everywhere we went. If we found cannabis, it was in hash form. It was a solid hash form, which was kind of interesting. Nobody messed with the flower part of it. And of course, depending on probably where we were, if we would have went closer to the Himalayas and up there, we might have found more flower material because that's where it came from originally. 2.8 million years ago or so, came down off the Tibetan plateau. And so, but just now food products being okayed, which just seems crazy again, because they should be growing as much food or hemp for food products in India as anywhere. I mean, they got 1.5 billion people or something. I mean, that's a huge lot of people. And most, that being said, most are vegetarians. Very little people in India actually eat meat. Okay, obviously no cows, nowhere. No cows, nowhere. You get shot, you get hit in the face just for even thinking about eating a cow, that's for sure. But you found a little bit of lamb, the chicken. Chicken was probably the most common meat, even though, again, I'd say most of them are vegetarians. Or they only eat meat for special occasions because that's how rare meat is also in India. But very little else. You'd go in, we'd be driving through the middle of India in the middle of nowhere, and, there'd be pigs running wild in the streets. So, different cities had actual different animals, whether it was the dogs running wild everywhere or the cows walking down the middle of the road. Some places there were pigs running wild, monkeys. They don't really look at the possession of owning an animal as well. Even the rooster that my partner at the time had given to the village that we went to visit years before. They were talking about having the rooster for dinner, and the chief's mom said, "Nope, that rooster is not going to get eaten." And so the rooster got a reprieve. And we had lamb that night, and that's their hold on life over there, one way or another. And so hemp is perfect for their diets for sure, to get that protein that most of them don't get from eating because of their lack of eating meat, one way or another. And and there are no fat people in India. It doesn't happen. I saw one overweight person in India, I swear to you, and it was probably like he's like the one person in India that can actually say it's a thyroid thing. It's not because I have money. Yeah. If you're even just a little bit heavy, you're respected because that means you have the money to eat more than most people. That's how it works. Speaking of the foods, we got this is the last little bit of news. A registered dietitian nutritionalist described hemp seed as they're one of the few plants-based sources of complete protein, meaning they offer all 9 essential amino acids. So, that's the omega-3, omega-6, and all those other things that hemp contains that's good for our body and that we need for positive body production. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means. I don't want to call it a superfood because I hate it, but it's a superfood, and everyone should once again figure out how to add it in, especially once again if you're a vegan or a vegetarian. Either way. A couple events. The Hemp at the Crossroads is going on like currently until Friday in Plainfield, Indiana. Tomorrow, this is kind of interesting. You might have to go online if you think this might help you. The National Association of Cannabis Transporters is officially, I think, launching their organization and doing a webinar. This is at 11 a.m. CDT. So I guess that's Central Time. But again, if you do transport or you are a transporter of cannabis, this might be a good organization because there have been issues. I didn't hear of anything this year. Nothing getting seized going across the country this year yet. But obviously transporting cannabis is quite the issue for sure when it comes to doing such. And then December 4th is the Hemp Wreath Workshop. If you're anywhere near Seymour, Connecticut, you can go to the Hemp Workshop. And that's pretty much it till the next year, end of February. Not a whole lot going on. I don't have any questions, but I do have some thoughts. Um, the first thought that I want to discuss, okay, now, we have the CBG, we have the CBN, we have the Delta 8. You know, now we have CBC. You have to remember this is CBC, and of course it's all blurry. Is Canada? I can't read it. But the one thing that they have seen with CBC now, on top of the same as most of the cannabinoids, is the anti-inflammatory, pain relief, those type of things, but they're showing actually overall positive impact on our brain cells. And so again, we have a pretty far distance to go as we're just now starting to figure out all of these cannabinoids, all of these isolates, THC being the most popular forever, and then CBD actually legitimizing the science of figuring out what else is in this plant and what does it do and how can we use it. And so, with that, once again, we spawned the CBG, which they call the mother of all cannabinoids, because it has the potential to become anything, and it's just a broad spectrum of results. We have CBN, which may or may not be seeing the good sleep related results with that one, as well as some of the other stuff. Delta 8, which I think again is another really good one for bringing down. And I also think gut issues. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more Delta 8 having positive gut issues. And we've always known that cannabis has a positive, for the most part, a positive impact on the digestive tract in the stomach. That's why two of the synthetic versions of cannabinoids, or THC even, pharmaceutically approved, are for chemo side effects, one being nausea. And so I really think that as we move forward with Delta 8, we're going to see more people, I think, having positive results with stomach or gut issues using Delta 8. And now we'll see, how far CBC, what kind of research we get and what it can do on its own as an isolate, providing relief. All right. And my other beach thought, as we enter the shopping craziness of what we call the holidays, whatever you celebrate, for whomever you may be celebrating or doing whatever. When this is, you can always just Google what you're looking for made out of hemp, and one of the newer places is Etsy. I have seen there is a lot of individual items made out of hemp, so to speak, on Etsy. eBay has always been one of my best places to get brand new, rare, off, kind of weird hemp products, in all honesty. Amazon, search for hemp, whatever you want on Amazon. You can find it there. But today, because there wasn't really a whole lot on my news feed, I just went and just started Googling Google hemp shopping. And some of these, a couple of these products showed up, and I'm sure there's a lot more to dive into there, because there are a lot of places making hemp goods, a lot of websites, smaller, that it takes a little bit of time to look for, but it's, again, unique, and it's promoting the things that we want to promote, as far as being socially responsible to the planet while you're giving gifts, so to speak, and things like that. There is nothing more landfill filling than the holiday season. packaging and all that stuff, trying to buy gifts that aren't packaged, and then make sure you try to recycle that crappy packaging that you don't need. Um, what's unfortunate is the packing industry has convinced the retail places that, in all honesty, for the safety of theft and all these other things, they need to be in this stuff, and it's just not true. It's just not true. It's just a ridiculous waste of oil for the most part, as far as plastic packaging. Even if it comes in paper packaging, if that paper is wood pulp, then ugh. If it's made out of hemp or recycled, which we're seeing a lot more people using paper packaging, but using recycled paper and environmentally friendly paper, then that's great. But we still are, we're a ways away from them making it really easy on us to find hemp stuff to buy and use. And so, my advice there is take a little bit of time and sit down and think about what you want to buy someone, and then find out whether you can find it made out of hemp. Or find some cool hemp stuff and then just give it to people and say, hey, I found you this cool hemp thing. It's all good. We're going to take off next week, folks. After 151 episodes, we haven't had a break in a while, although I shouldn't say that because I was out not too long ago and whatever. But this is an official. We're giving you warning.
That's right.
Next Wednesday at noon, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want.
Figure out what to wear and all that stuff on your own. I'm sorry.
Know. Yep, you're just going to have to figure it out. It's true.
Medical Marijuana Patient Care commented on Facebook about the next meetup on Tuesday.
Yes, as I was mentioning earlier in the show, it's true. The Medical Marijuana Meetup is next Tuesday, like I said, and you can go online to meetup.com and then find the local Medical Marijuana Meetup in that information. Yes, just like I was mentioning earlier. I didn't put it in the events because I was talking about it earlier, so they might have missed that. But yes, next Tuesday. I'll be there unless some weirdness happens. I've missed the last couple, so I really need to get there. It's true. It's true. All right, folks, I think that's all we got for this week. We will see you in 2 weeks. I believe that'll be the 15th, if my math is correct. December 15th. And remember, reduce, reuse, recycle. Make everything else out of hemp. Having temptations.
See you all in 2 weeks.